Welcome to Everything Black. I'm your host, Frank. I couldn't wait to let me get my music kicking here. I want y'all to feel a little groove while I'm talking. I couldn't wait to do this video. Man, these Democrats, they pull the same old playbook every time they look around. They use the mammies. They want to get a message to black masses. They call on their good mammies. You see, black women, y'all are helping destroy the black family, the black power, the black rise. When y'all volunteer and come out for these votes to destroy other black people. None of these policies that are coming up with are good for us. I mean, you got to ask yourself, how does this benefit us? This HR 40 doesn't benefit us. This is a waste of time, and you will see that it's a waste of time. Let me go and get started because this is quite a bit of long video. I use Facebook. I use YouTube. I use X. This is for educational purposes only. I use X. In my description, let me throw that up there right quick. 1 second. All right. Hopefully that helps. Anyway, I gotta get this out. Let me get it started. And you can see they are coming out. You probably can't see nothing, but this is
good afternoon, and thank you everyone for braving the inclement weather as we gather to take an essential step forward in the long and ongoing fight for justice, accountability, and healing for Black America. Today, I'm deeply honored to reintroduce H.R. 40, historic legislation to establish a federal commission to examine the lasting legacy of slavery, to develop reparations proposals for descendants of enslaved Africans. It is an honor to inherit the privilege of...
Okay, first of all, I want y'all to take a look at this group. I don't know if y'all know any of these people. Most of these people are from the Black Caucus. And some of these people are not from this country. They all are descendants of Caribbean or African, or they're not from here. Their ancestors don't come from here. They may come from Jamaica, one of the Caribbean, Haiti, one of the Caribbean places around the United States, or they may be from Africa. But they pretend to be us. They don't pretend to represent us because we vote for these people and we put them in power. White supremacy deliver them to us, and we buy into the bullshit by voting for these people, putting them in power. You can't vote for somebody then try to tell them what they need to do for you. You have to do that before you vote for them. You can't give these people your power. You can't give these people your power. When you cast your vote, it's too late. If you go to their websites, you will see what their policies are. On every one of these people policies, there is a LGBT movement or policy. And at the end of this show, you will see they say, and right in the middle, one of these ladies gonna mention LGBTQ and immigrants. Most of these people are immigrants. Most of the people on the Black Caucus are immigrants. These are people who are not like us, but they fighting, supposedly fighting for us. This lady here on my right, which from the right to the left, that's Sheila Jackson Lee's daughter. And I'm gonna pull up Sheila Jackson Lee here in a minute. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up right now. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me pull her up right quick so y'all can see who they are talking about. Give me 1 second. Let's see who they talking about here. Sheila Jackson Lee. Now, I told y'all that most of these people were immigrants. If you scroll down on her bio page and all that, you will see her parents was Ezel Clay Jackson and Elizabeth Jackson. You know, y'all can correct that word if you want to. I guess I said it right. I don't mean to damage nobody's name. But if you go down here a little further, you will see that, where is it at? Jackson supports the Equality Act bill expanded by the Civil Rights based on sexual orientation. See, there it is. And gender. She believed in the LGBT shit. They don't support Foundation Black Americans. That's nowhere on the site. If you read these people policies, you will see. Now she became joined the Democratic Party, a politician in 1995. I think her husband was some type of congressman too, U.S. representative too, and he died, I think, a good while back. I remember reading, I think somewhere around the 80s or 90s. He died of pancreatic cancer. But, you know, that's not important, and that's not, you know, really too much to say about that. But I just wanted to show y'all that she was worth $5 million when she died. I hope that y'all saw that. Let me bring it up. I want y'all to see this. She believed in sexual orientation. You can see my cursor there. And gender identity. Those was her beliefs. And also, she was, go over here to her background here. Let me see if I can get it on my, this is, that's what she looked like. For y'all who who know who she was, those are images of Sheila Jackson Lee. This is a woman who took on a bill from a white guy named John Carney, who was the co-founder, from what I understand, of the Black Caucus. Okay, so when white people start something, they pretty much run it, and they just find people who they can look like us to represent it, but they are not in charge, and I'm pretty sure they getting underhanded money for you know what I'm saying, doing us any kind of way. But I also wanted to show y'all this. Hold on one second. Where did I see it at? It was something about her parents. I did read she was from Jamaica. I mean, her parents was from Jamaica. She was born here, but her parents was from Jamaica. I wanted to show y'all that, but I guess I lost the slide. But yeah, I had it pulled up, but I guess I can't find it right now. But that's where her parents was from, Jamaica. So this is what we call a tether. Okay. She's from here, but her parents are not. So she can cosplay as one of us, you know, talking about slavery and stuff when her parents didn't go through that over here. Her parents had nothing to do with the building of this nation. So she's not FBA. Sheila Jackson Lee is not FBA. Okay. But she represents us. So when you're not part of us and you represent us, you don't mind harming us. Okay. So let's go back to okay, let me go back over here to make sure I can get this on the screen. Okay, I got it. All right. Let me let them talk. And also, we are not African Americans. Stop going by that name. We are descendants of freedmen. We are Foundation Black American. We started this country. We was here before they got here. We built it. Wasn't nothing here until we built it. Okay, there was nothing here. We did more than just pick cotton. They love to drive that in that we picked cotton and worked in the field. We built the houses. We put the first doorknob lock on the door. You couldn't even lock your doors until we built the doorknob. Okay? So that's just one of the things I want to say, but just listen to this BS and man, it's gonna get cringe worthy, but I'm gonna try to stop it and start it. You know, I'm gonna let a little bit go and then we just gonna go in.
Carrying this forward.
She's pretending to cry. Now you see that woman right there in the back? Hold on, let me get over here. You see this woman right here? Wait a minute, I got a pencil I can use. Hold on. Let me see if I can use this pencil. You see this woman here? I don't even know what this pencil for. But anyway, she's smiling already. She's pretending to cry. And she's not even looking at nobody. And she's looking down. This is a act. You can look at these people and tell this is a act. This woman look like she from the 70s. Look at them glasses. Look like she from the 70s already. And she gonna trip you out when she get up here and talk. This one here gonna be trying to read like a militant. And this is Sheila Jackson Lee. She just trying to take over where her mama left off. Another 50 years of destroying black people, helping to destroy black people. Now they pretend that they're on our side. Look at them. And I want you to listen to them. I know y'all want to listen, so let me let it play. And, I'm going to come back and talk about some of this stuff.
Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. In my last correspondence with her, she said, keep working on our priorities and never give up. She was a House sponsor of H.R. 40 and a true giant in Paris. We are grateful for her leadership. We are grateful for her example and her voice. May she rest in peace and power. And we are grateful to be joined here today by her daughter, former Erica Lee Carter, who today, when I thanked her for braving the elements to journey here, said, true justice is never convenient. I want to acknowledge some of our partners in good trouble in this fight. Senator Cory, our co-lead in the Senate, Chairwoman Yvette Clarke of the Congressional Black Caucus, Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman, Congresswoman Latifah Simon, Congresswoman Summer Lee, and the more than 70 members of Congress who have signed on to co-sponsor the legislation that was first introduced. And I want to make this point because it is Black History Month. And while there are those that are working actively, either to erase our history or to whitewash it, that I'm here in this moment to pick up the mantle of this historic legislation that has been championed by Congressman John Conyers, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. That was introduced more than 30 years ago. Congressman John Conyers was a Black Caucus. Critical inflection point in America, and the moment cannot be more urgent. With Black history under attack and white supremacy emboldened, there is no better time to introduce this bill than during Black History Month, a time when we reflect on our history, our struggle, and our collective power. And I'll say it's so Black history, but it is Black views. More than years ago, kidnapped, benefit from today.
Black people, I want to say that when they say they brought us from Africa, they was only talking about 5% of the population here. They only brought over 5% of Africans. Okay, just 5%. The rest of us was already here. But for some reason, American history doesn't want to say that. They want us to always think that we from Africa, everybody from Africa, but we had an ethnogenesis, which means half of us, most of us was already here. We are disconnected from Africa at that point. We have no kinfolks there. The government that was there back then that was doing that is not there today. But the U.S. government is here today, and it's here today because of us. And all we're doing is asking for what belonged to us, the check. Now, these women going to tell you that we don't need a check. This is not about a check. Yes, it is about a check. If it ain't about a check, then y'all don't need to be up there. You guys don't need to represent us. Foundation Black Americans are done with y'all. We do not involve ourselves with Democrats anymore. They do not represent Foundation Black Americans. The Democrat Party, as far as I'm concerned, is done. Unless they get us a check. If they cut us a check, we good. The Republicans cut us a check, we good. The first one cut us a check, we good with. But all we need is 10% of the population, which is 40 million Black Foundation Black Americans, All we need is 10%, 10 million, and we can get this 10 million who stay on code. We can get the reparation check with 10 million of us staying on code. We don't need everybody. So let me continue. Let this woman continue with this bull crap.
Rice, sugar, tobacco, cotton. And even after the Civil War,
Notice she don't name buildings, construction. Uh, she don't name railroad. You know, everything that was built, we built it. She want to name the shit that people were picking cotton at. That might have been what the people did, the 5%ers did that was brought over here. Might have been what they did, but we was out building shit. Okay, don't let these people tell you that that's why all we did was pick cotton. That ain't what all we did. Now that might have been what they did in other parts of the country, but we was building shit. We was putting up buildings. We were building town, city, streets. And later on we were building tartar trees. In the house, not outside. You know what I'm saying? Plumbing, we did all that. They didn't do nothing but watch and chase us down, make sure we didn't escape, and stole us from our tribes. That was the Seminole tribe, the black people, the black Indians. Now the red ones, they helped sell us out. Okay. They gave them a little piece of land and some alcohol, and they was good. But watch these people. These are none but snakes.
emancipation, the 13th Amendment, the legacy of slavery endured in other forms, codified in law to deny Black Americans freedom, opportunity, and dignity. And that's what brings us here today. This brutality, these injustices, these horrors were not things just happened within the culture.
I'm sorry to keep stopping it, but man, these people tell so many lies. It's just hard to keep up. In a few minutes, she gonna name numbers here. In a few minutes, $8 for. She gonna say that Black people as a group is worth $8 in wealth. The white supremacists are the white Americans. I'm not gonna call all white people are not white supremacists. Just the ones that choose to practice it. So I don't know which one choose to practice. So I have to say suspected white supremacists. So the suspected white supremacists, they make $247,500 in wealth, and we only down at $8 in wealth, while they had over 247,000 as a group. Nationwide, there's $10 trillion as a group. And you don't think they owe us. They didn't pay us not one dime for about a good 400-500 years. Not one dime. I'm sorry to keep stopping it, but
By osmosis, they were legislated. Today, with Donald Trump and Republicans waging their coordinated and at times unlawful assault on Black folks and Black history, we will not allow that history to be erased. We will not allow it to be whitewashed. H.R. 40 is a powerful reminder of the work that remains and offers us a pathway toward truth and accountability. To be clear, this bill is.
And notice, the Democrats been in charge for 4 years. They could have brought this up during Biden's administration. Or Kamala could have called them up there during her attempt to run for president. Did she do it? No. What they do? They wait till you get an extreme white supremacy. Extreme mean he gonna do it with power. Okay. Donald Trump is working in power, intimidation, right? You got to intimidate him like he intimidates you. Democrats don't recognize power. They recognize this crap, what they doing right now. God dog it. Now I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that, y'all. We're going to get this back up. We're going to get it back up. And we're going to let her finish. And I'm going to try not to stop it. But, when they tell these lies, man, whew, it's hard for me to just sit here and listen.
Is not a symbolic gesture, but rather a meaningful step toward repairing the deep that continue to harm Black communities today. The racial wealth gap in America is not an accident. In Boston, my home city, the Federal Reserve counts Black wealth at just $8, compared to the wealth of white households at $247,500. 10 trillion. That's trillion with a T. This shameful reality is the direct result of generations of precise, intentional policy harm codified into our laws and budgets. And it is specifically the result of slavery and the anti-Black society that followed. From Jim Crow to budgets, perpetuated and entrenched these harms for generations. The disparities that we see in health outcomes, housing, education, wealth, and more are by design. Today, our government has a moral and legal obligation to right those wrongs, and reparations are a necessary step towards achieving.
Now, I want y'all to notice that everything she's talking about is going to be black, 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 black. And like I say, that's the way the Democrats do. They talk about black, 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 like they real down with us. And then one of these ladies, even this lady right here, may end up saying something about immigrants and LGBTQ, and it's for everybody. Okay, y'all gonna see that. I'm probably gonna go past this. Let me go past this and go to the next person. This Sheila Black, Jackson Lee's daughter.
Say her name. It has been said that the time for justice is always right now. It is my honor to stand here with a warrior for justice, dedicated leader, and prominent legislator as we pass the torch to the Honorable Ayanna Pressley as she takes up the righteous fight for H.R. 40. This fight against injustice is personal to her and me. H.R. 40 is long overdue and even more necessary under this administration as hate is fomented, discrimination is promoted, and code words are used to bring out the worst in our fellow Americans. H.R. 40, first filed by the Honorable John Conyers, who understood that from our nation's very founding, the enslaved of African descent were shut out and disparity was written into our Constitution. Since 1995, my mother, the Honorable Sheila Jackson Lee, worked closely with Congressman Conyers through her service on the Judiciary Committee and the Congressional Black Caucus. Over those years, I traversed this country to connect with advocates, activists, scholars, congressional colleagues, staff, neighbors, and friends to spread the word that H.R. 40 and dismantle rumors that it was just a check or a useless exercise. They and
a movement can move us forward. So first of all, let me say to you, happy Black History Month. You know, from school boards to the White House, Trump and his lackeys are on a mission to erase the contributions of Black Americans, including the unpaid Black labor upon which our country was built. We won't allow this history to be erased, because when Black history is erased, when the value of the contributions of Black Americans is dismissed, it's that much easier to dismiss the value of Black lives. Black excellence scares Donald Trump. It scares Stephen Miller, and it scares Elon Musk, because you know what? Deep down, they recognize their own mediocrity. And so they're doing everything they can to entrench the racial wealth gap. They refuse to recognize that when Black America succeeds, we all succeed. When those on the bottom of the rungs of the economic ladder can climb, then the entire nation rises with them. So I'm grateful to my little sister, Ayanna, for picking up this legislation from the late, great Sheila Jackson Lee. This is Representative Lee's legacy, and we represent her legacy.
Good afternoon, everybody. I thank you, of course, to Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley for carrying on this legacy, and of course to the late Sheila Jackson Lee, who carried this with pride for so long, for her efforts, to the advocates of this movement here and outside. Happy Black History Month. Happy Black Futures Month, in an era, of course, where Black history is attempted to be erased, to obstructed, or whitewashed. The America we know today was built on the brutal enslavement and trafficking of stolen Africans forced to build this country on their literal backs. Despite, however, what Trump and his anti-diversity, anti-equity, anti-inclusion cronies want you to believe, this is American history. Its impact is the American status quo. It's unjust and it is wrong. No matter what anybody says, the history of America is the history of America.
See, she's trying to talk like she's some type of a black, power person. She's reading the script and trying to promote it like she's really down with the people. But they gonna give you a little turn spin here in a minute. I don't know why these people, like I said, I do know why they dress like the way they dress. I don't think none of them have on dresses. They all got on pantsuits, or like men. I'll dress kind of like men in men's suits. It's kind of it's kind of like they represent the men. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting the LGBT vibes already. So I don't know if these people are LGBT. I don't know if the lady back there in that black coat is LGBT or not, but she kind of give you the vibe. And this one here at the counter kind of give you the vibe. It's something not right about these people. But we're gonna move on. Let's go to the next one. Oh yeah, this guy here. Let me kind of bag it up so you can see who he is.
Because of predatory lending, because of inequitable funding schemes for our schools are very real. Our government, no matter who is in power, has an obligation to right these wrongs, to provide reparations for the descendants of enslaved Africans, to eliminate the racial wealth gap, to uplift the Black community. White supremacy is in this country. Just look at the current administration and our own legislative body. They have contributed to the social and economic harms, to racial terror Black folks have experienced in this country. Now, more than ever, we must acknowledge and repair those harms. HR 40 is one tool that brings us closer to righting and truly going to address the racial and economic injustices rooted in this country. We must start here. I urge my colleagues, not just here, but throughout this body, to pass.
Y'all just look at how these women are looking. Look at their faces. Look at their mouths right there. Look at their mouth. They act like this. They know that this is a joke, but they act like it's up to them to fix it, and that you need to believe that they can do it. Look at them. Look at these women. I just want y'all to just stare and look at them for a minute. These women ain't right.
Pass to support HR 40, to support and pass reparations. Nathan Jackson, thank you.
Now, this is Nathan
Good
Jackson.
afternoon and happy African American History Month. I'm proud to be the representative from the 1st Congressional District of Illinois. Illinois has the honor of starting African American History Month with Dr. Carter G. Woodson, African American young man that was born in West Virginia, went to the first integrated college in America, Berea College in Kentucky. From there, he went on to the University of Chicago, where he created his thesis that he had to show the truth of American history. When African Americans are distorted, deleted, this becomes propaganda, not history. He's the second African American to earn his PhD from Harvard University. So I'm very proud. Also proud to be from Illinois, which houses Evanston, Illinois, where they started the tangible effects of this reparations work, and they have gained tremendous steam. Now this conversation is taking place in New York State, Illinois, and California. As we speak right now, there are commissions in Palm Springs and Fulton County, Georgia, as well as in Amherst, Massachusetts. This is a nationwide program and is gaining steam. This is happening nationwide. And why do I support HR 40? It's healing.
HR 40 is not healing. It's nothing but a study. They're going to go back and study what the same thing they did 30 years ago, same thing they did probably, I think, about 5 or 6 years ago when they had all those people in Congress talking about what black people don't need. They had people representing us who wasn't us. These were mostly immigrants telling America what black people didn't need. I'm trying to let it play, y'all, but these people telling so many lies, man. It's just unreal.
The truth comes out about the nation, it heals. When there's reparation, when there's been repair for the atrocities of slaveries and all of the ills that happened, this is the solution. And so I'm not here to fix the blame. We didn't create the history. I'm here to fix the problem. This solves a problem that persists in zoning and taxation and economic development. I'm also a proud co-chair of the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Caucus. We are not going backwards following that of Mr. Donald J. Trump and his administration. We believe diversity is good for all. We believe that equity, equality is good for all. We believe that having an opportunity to be inclusive is important for all. So I stand on those values. HR 40 stands on those values. I thank the tremendous legacy of Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. I thank the inspiration of Congressman John Conyers. And although it's now touching ground, starting in Evanston, 100 localities across America are now picking this up. It's time for the federal government to act on this same legislation. And I am not concerned about the timing. We repair whenever its harm is due now. The second part is it took us 246 years to go from 1619 to 1865. We are resilient for the long haul. We will not stop fighting until there is justice.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, sir.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Latifah Simon, and I'm coming from the California's most progressive district, in fact, the nation's most progressive district, Barbara Lee's former district, our forever Congresswoman. I was sworn in just 5 weeks ago, and I'm so honored, Ms. Presley, that you gave me the opportunity to speak today, and your role on the judiciary is so important.
Black people, this lady right here is insane. She is out there. Now watch. She gonna be so far out there, then she gonna catch herself. Watch it.
Now more than ever, when we think about many organizers who grew up in the movement in the last 30 years, we think of Sheila Jackson Lee as our Ella Baker. Ella Baker consistently would chant, "We who believe in freedom cannot rest." She also said, which touches me most, that I have a chance to work with young people. They have the courage where we fail. So in this very room, you see the passing of a real torch of a lifelong commitment service and justice for folks who didn't receive their civil rights literally until 2 generations ago, less than 55 years ago. I'm so thankful that we're having this conversation. As an early sponsor in the 119th Congress of H.R. 40, I too am very clear. Representing Oakland in 1942, African Americans from 5 southern states begin to migrate to the West Coast. One escaping Jim Crow South, where they fight, and the Americans came as they were sequestered to put bombs on ships during World War II. I come from those people. I come from Betty Lavasseur, who was the daughter of a business family, owned 19 businesses that were burned down in the Tulsa massacre. We are Tulsa people. I come from my mother's maternal side, from Malvern, Arkansas, which is
God damn it. Man, I always do that.
I picture outside of former Illinois governor and former convicted felon Rod Blagojevich's home there. This is a lot.
Damn it. Boy, I always do that shit. Forgive me, y'all. Let me go back. Let me go back here. Dang it, man. I hate doing that. I'm going to get it back on her, y'all. Give me 1 second. God dog it. Do that damn near every damn show. What is it? Okay. See, she almost forgot what she was saying. She almost forgot what she was saying.
The idea of bringing forth a bill that every member of Congress should vote on to understand, effectuate, and socialize and study how we can move a country from tyranny, subjugation, to economic prosperity. It's clear. The history is clear. I'm extremely excited that we're going to bring this bill to the floor, and we'll be able to show
she down
who
there
really cares about
at the end. Look,
cattle slavery.
Right there.
But we will endure. I have no doubt. We will endure.
Look.
Not now is a phrase that King said consistently.
Anyway, let's go on to the next
Brooklyn. And I'm also the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus.
This is the chair.
On behalf of the entire CBC, I'd like to thank my esteemed colleagues, Representative Ayanna Pressley and Senator Cory Booker, for their leadership in reintroducing H.R. 40 legislation to finally establish a federal commission to address and explore reparative measures for the lasting impact of slavery, systemic racism, and racial discrimination in Black America. I'd also like to take this opportunity to recognize and thank our former House colleague and co-lead on H.R. 40, Congresswoman Erica Lee Carter. I want to thank her for her leadership and for joining us today, as well as our colleagues who are arrayed here. It is an honor to be here today in support of this important and transformative legislation, which the CBC has championed for decades as part of our unending mission to improve the lives of Black Americans. In this legislation on behalf of our caucus for many years. From Congressman John Conyers, who first introduced this legislation in 1969.
See, people, they've been riding this shit since 1969. I mean, here they is from 1969 up to now. This is the only thing they have done or tried to do for black people, this HR 40 stuff. And all this is a study. And they can't even get that done. Why do we keep putting these people in office? We keep putting them in office. It's going to be another 50 years before anything get done. Our grandkids going to be old. Come on, guys. We got to stop this shit now. This is ridiculous. Let me go ahead and get to back to Ayanna Pressley. I want her. She going to finally explain what all this about. She going to get some questions. And she going to say that this is not about a check. Let me get over to it. Let's see.
There are establishment voices in your own party that have said that race-conscious policies, and we have seen a retreat from elevating these issues. What is your message to fellow Democrats who would say that now is not the time to?
Well, Dr. King reminds us that the time is always right to do what is right. And Coretta Scott King reminds us that freedom is never really won. You earn it and win it in every generation. You know, I'm very clear about the fact that the path to justice is not a linear one. And so we're here to do that work. And I think it's important while we are actively blunting the that we are advancing and affirming for this country and for this city. Also add that race-conscious policies are responsive policies. I am asked about HR 40 in community in the Massachusetts 7th Congressional District by people of every walk of life, every race and ethnicity, every gender identity and expression, because they are simply people of conscience. I've always said that policy is my love language.
This is what she's getting to, y'all. This is all about the LGBT and immigrants. This is not about black people. And if it do get anywhere, it's just a study, man. They can do, and then they're gonna have some white person over the establishment, whatever it becomes. It'll be somebody white over the paper, over the money. You know what I'm saying? The president gonna have to assign. She'll explain it here. I don't know if they passed that yet already. But let me let her get through, and we're gonna get through with this. I mean, this is sickening, man. Stop voting for these people. Get rid of this Democrat Party crap. It's over.
Language. And the reason I say that is because the majority of the harms that have been caused, particularly that have been foisted onto Black Americans, were legislated. So if we can legislate hurt and harm, legislate justice, we legislate. And, we're certainly long overdue. And for those that would say we need to just get over it, that's interesting. When as a nation, you are benefiting right now from an economy that was built on the brutalized backs and the indignities and the horrors of chattel slavery and our African ancestors.
Congresswoman, you got emotional when discussing taking up this mantle from Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. Can you elaborate on what that means to you personally? And given that this bill has been introduced for generations, are you thinking about new ways to elevate HR 40?
Well, I'll in a moment turn it over to the Congresswoman here, but I got emotional because I'm humbled and because I feel a tremendous amount of responsibility. These are unprecedented and deeply consequential times. And I'm also because was thinking about our for Sheila, same way that I've championed the Equal Rights Amendment and gender equality being enshrined in our Constitution. I'm not afraid of
God damn it, man. I'm done.
Mr. President?
I'm done. I did this shit again. I did this shit again, man. Man, I can't believe that. God dog it, man. I did it again. Damn. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna end this quick. I was just trying to get to the end part there. Here we go. Getting back on it. Getting back on it. Getting back on it. Getting back on it.
of the lawmakers, the Black history makers who have shepherded and stewarded this. But there is a movement, as Congresswoman Jackson spoke to, that continues to gain momentum throughout the country. So it's not just Black folks that are interested in this. People of conscience recognize power and the necessity of the word truth and reconciliation. There's precedent. We have for Native American indigenous people. We have done this for Japanese Americans. So when people say, well, my family didn't own slaves, why should I care about this? Well, you know, we were able to do truth reconciliation and the work of the reparative work for Japanese Americans, you know, and not everybody played a role in that either. So that's what brings us here today. And I'm excited to do the work of intentional and inclusive movement building and to appeal to people's conscience. Yes.
Thank you all so much for doing this. You mentioned that there are a lot of advocates in the movement who support this work who are outside partnering with you all in this work. A lot of folks that I've talked to also feel a sense of hopelessness right now, feel a sense of fear, a sense of anxiety. Could any of you paint a picture of what an America with reparations look like for folks out there who are looking for a vision, something to latch on to give them hope to get through these next 40 years, get through this next season as you all work to advance this piece of legislation?
Okay, the guy asked her to paint a picture of what reparation would look like so we can get through these next 4 years, okay? And here she go. Check out her answer.
Yeah, come on.
Here we go.
Thank you so much. This is a national as well as an international movement. Evanston, Illinois is minority African American, majority white. Our great abolitionists, historical brothers that are coming out today, they're on the same side of history. Amherst, Massachusetts has already started a commission, not exactly an African American town either. So this is happening in 100 localities across the United States. So there are people of goodwill that are rising up. And some people simply don't have the courage to come forward and speak truth to power. Truth is on our side. We come to comfort those that are disturbed and disturb those that are comfortable. Truth will be our ally. So that's the side that we're standing on. And this has been international and phenomenon as well. This is written into the Constitution in so many ways. In the country of Brazil that had to go through massive land reform after their history of slavery. This has been written into the Constitution for repair in the Constitution in South Africa. This has been written into the Constitution in India to have more diversity, to have more inclusion, to have more equity. And so this is simply we're asking to start the study. We cannot deny our history going forward. And like I said,
there it is. You see? He just wants to start the study. The study has been started. The study happened, I think, about 8 years ago. Then it happened in 1969, and they ain't went past the study. All this time they hadn't went past that. Hell, that woman behind them was probably a young kid when they started this crap. Now look at her. She ready to go. You see what I'm saying? Man, we can't keep this up another 10, 15 years. This got to be done immediately. These people are playing games. Look at them. Look at their faces. It's a game to them. This is a game to this guy. And I bet you if you go look in his background, he's not Foundation Black America.
It took us 246 years to get from 1619 to 1865. After the Civil War is over, it took us 346 years to get from 1619 to 1965 when we had our voting rights fully restored. And now Mr. Trump has blown that away. So we're saying we can't go back any further. And I can't say how proud I am to be working with Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. I wanted this bill so bad for myself, but I am even more confident this is in great hands. And I thank the Congresswoman Erica Jackson Lee for having put it in Ayanna Pressley. And so I stand beside her. I stand with her. And like I said, this next phase that Miss Ayanna Pressley is carrying forward started in Evanston. Repair is already being redressed. They've dispersed over $16 million in the city of Evanston, Illinois. And other cities are now being able to model that same sort of legislation. So I thank Robin Simmons and others in Evanston, and they're setting the path. And now other communities are coming forward.
We're going to look at that.
Yes, of course.
Because you asked what should Black people be feeling? As we can move forward in advancing this bill and having these discussions and elevating these conversations, Black people in particular know that there is a fight on their behalf. They know that there is healing that is necessary. It is understood. It is appreciated and respected. And they know that there are a cohort of people in Congress and out of Congress who will not let this moment cede to this movement, which is healing for our whole country. Thank you.
And I would just add in terms of, you said, folks are feeling helpless, and I co-sign everything that my eloquent colleagues offered here. I just want to reiterate again, it is so important. I mean, Black people, look, we are magic. We are miracles. We have resilience. We're hardwired. It's in our, our ancestral DNA. But we cannot only do the work of resistance. It is important to advance a vision of another world that we believe that is possible. And we have to name that in order to manifest that. A world where Black boy joy is a rite of passage. A world where Black men grow old. A world where you can be Black and birthing and safe and sacred, and that is a right and not a privilege. A world where we pass on not generational trauma, but generational wealth, health, and Black joy. So we're naming that. So that's what I do think is possible if we dig deep and people of conscience come together and honor the will of the majority of the people who call this country home to do this work of truth, reconciliation, and repair.
Amen.
Would you like to say something? Oh, yes, of course.
I just want to thank all of my colleagues. I agree with all of it. And she would say, we may be bowed, but we are not broken. And I just love the health, wealth, and healing, love, and Black joy. And for my two children, her grandchildren, they need all of those things.
Thank you. Thank you. I think one thing that I would love to share, Ms. Presley, with folks gathered here today, this vision that Ms. Presley illustrated is one that can be real. It can be real. We are standing here in Washington, D.C., where Howard University was built so that Black men and Black women could attend it north, south, east, or west, that we can all truly have no opportunities to move forward and to be our very, very best.
And so I will be, I will ask everyone. I will ask everyone.
Going off of that a little bit, can you, obviously this has been reintroduced over the last 30 years.
Right.
Talk to us just about the challenges that may be.
See, they know this a joke. Look at them. They about to laugh, man.
Congresswoman Lee, had passed on,
They holding back their laughter. Look at them.
30 years, what
See how they
challenges
jaws
do you have
tighten
to
up?
overcome to get to the next step, to get this to the House floor?
Last question.
Look how they holding back.
Well, first, I think there's an education component that is really essential here, because a lot of people think this is simply about a check being cut.
Yeah,
and arriving at a number, and that's not what this is. This is a federal commission to examine the lasting legacy and the vestiges of.
While she was talking, let me back that up.
I will ask everyone.
Going off of that a little bit, can you, obviously this has been reintroduced over the last 30 years. Talk to us just about the challenges that maybe,
I want you to listen to this.
From what Congresswoman Lee, had passed on, and tried to fight for this.
That's the part I was getting to the whole show.
What challenges do you have to overcome to get to the next step, to get this to the House floor?
Last question.
Sure. Well, first, I think there's an education component that is really essential here, because a lot of people think this is simply about a check being cut and arriving at a number, and that's not what this is. This is
okay. Then this whole thing needs to stop. If this is not about a check, this whole thing needs to stop. You can't repair shit without a check. You didn't give Asians education. You didn't give the Jews education. You didn't give the Hispanic Latinos, when they came over here, the immigrants, you didn't give them education. You gave them some checks. You gave them checks. Everybody in America has gotten checks but us. So she said it's not about a check. So I'm going to let y'all listen, and then we're going to finish this up, what she say this is about. Dang, now my point is acting up. Look at her. Come on. Where the hell you at? God dang it. Okay, she said this is not about. Come on, Pointer. There we go.
Is a federal commission to examine the lasting legacy and the vestiges of slavery, to develop proposals for reparations for African American descendants of enslaved people. And that commission would be 15 members, 3 members appointed by the president, 3 members appointed by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, 3 members appointed by the President pro tem of the Senate, and then 6 members shall be experts on racial justice, economics, civil rights, reparative justice, and related
white
fields.
People over this.
So
thing.
I think that's our first priority, is to educate people, because there's a lot of misinformation about what is HR 40 and what again, just the bones and what constitutes it. Secondly, people probably think the chances of this happening are not high. So we have to give them the education about the fact that momentum is on our side. And there are efforts, successful efforts of redress, successful task forces, including in the city of Boston, which is home to the Massachusetts 7th Congressional District. So we have to tell that story, that there is momentum. And then, I think people will say, at a time when they are dismantling and defunding diversity, equity, and inclusion. And let's just unpack what that means, right? Diversity means everybody. So that means Black folks, Latinos, AAPI, disabled people, veterans, rural folk, women. Diversity means everyone, right? So diversity and equity and opportunity and an inclusion in the American dream.
Yes.
So if they are working actively to dismantle and to defund diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives across all agencies,
talking about
that has nothing to do with meritocracy.
Not just Black America.
This is just an attempt to resegregate society. And so if folks are going to be emboldened in white supremacy and in anti-Black policies, I think all the more that we are especially strident in being unapologetically Black and pro-Black and about Black futures. And I'm sure also there'll be other lessons that the many movement leaders who've been a part of this that I'll learn from them, and we'll integrate that into our strategic approach. All right, happy Black History Month. Thank you, everyone.
Like I said,
Thank you, Chair. Oh, so good to see you, everyone.
this is just a joke, y'all. This is just a joke. They just towing the line for white supremacy. These are the mammies doing the mammy and stuff they do. Please stop voting for these people. Please stop giving them power. They destroying our community. You see, we hadn't made any progress since 1969. Hell, they said that. The damn bill been introduced several times in the last, I believe the lady said 30 years. Anyway, please stop voting for the Democrats. Thank you for joining me. Happy Black History Month. I'll be bringing you more information. I'm probably going to do a little bit of individual research on each one of these people to let you know they don't even probably represent us. I mean, they not even from here. They don't qualify for the reparation if we got it, you know. Anyway, thank y'all for joining me. Everything Black. See you next time.